Despite speculation that the mantle of 007 is passing from Daniel Craig to another actor for the 25th installment of the franchise, when I say speculation, I mean Craig flat out stating that he'd rather slit his wrists than play the role again. And when I say a different actor, I mean guys who have starred in shows where their characters pretty much are Bond. Anyway, Craig has recently emerged with some good news for all those Craigites out there, or whatever they're called. After a year of contemplation, he suggested that he might not be done with the character just yet. After all, it was the day after filming of Spectre Wrapped when he made those comments about leaving Bond, and understandably was a bit tired of it all at the time. Give the man a bloody chance! You can't just go shoving microphones in his face straight after he's returned from fighting large, manicured men on a train and getting drilled in the head. He's gonna make some crazy decisions. Craig also said that there have currently been no conversations about the next movie so far. But for the purposes of this video, let's just assume that he will be wrapping up his 5-picture deal as 007. Cause you know, I've made the video now and that's the whole point of it. Anyway, I thought it might be a good idea to take a look at some James Bond novelisations that could be adapted for Craig's last hurrah! I hope you're listening, Eon Productions. They're the studio that makes the Bond films. I'm not sure how many of these I'm going to go through, but I'm sure that number will be in the title. Or it won't, and I'll just have put some. Either way, you already know, cause, well, I mean, you're from the future, aren't you? Number 1. Nobody Lives Forever. This is John Gardner's 5th Ian Fleming super spy novel. And although it was published in 1986, you can still sorta shoehorn it into where we are in the movies. Sort of. This story starts out when Bond is warned by the Secret Service, check, that the current leader of Spectre, who is severely injured, oh, we've got one of those, has put a price on Bond's head, and he's told not to trust anyone. His housekeeper, an elderly lady by the name of May. Oh, Craig's Bond doesn't have a housekeeper. He doesn't even have a house. It's probably for the best that he doesn't have a housekeeper, to be honest. I think Craig's Bond might accidentally break both of her legs on his way to the toilet in the middle of the night in a drunken stupor or something. And don't think he wouldn't do that. He's the kind of guy that'd beat you to death with your own arms while your whole family watches. He's bloody brutal. Anyway, her and Moneypenny, oh, we've got one of those too, go missing. And it's up to Bond to dodge assassins trying to collect the bounty, all while attempting to find his friends / shaving associates. On his journey, he's assisted by a young debutante, because, well, Bond's always got to have a bit of a shag, doesn't he? And her mysterious female bodyguard. I think the solitude that this story brings is something that we haven't really seen in this new era of 007. As it always kind of feels like MI6 is right there in his ear, tracking his movements, or Moneypenny's just around the corner to shoot him off a moving train. What is she like? I think Bond not knowing who he can trust as a one-man army type figure, where even his supposed friends, like this guy, I don't know his name. Tanner, right, yes, Tanner. I just looked it up. It felt like that only took about a second in the video, didn't it? The power of editing. Anyway, having a situation where even Tanner might be double-crossing him might make Bond question who he can turn to, and give a fitting end to his career in espionage. Maybe he'll be killed. Maybe he'll run off into the sunset again with his lady companion, like he did in the end of Spectre. Or maybe he'll grow old alone in an apartment, shouting abuse at the young couple upstairs who always have their goddamn music playing too loud. That's up to you, Eon Productions. Sorry, what did you say? You're not the screenwriter. Stop making an ass of yourself on the internet and go get a real job. Number 2. The Man with the Red Tattoo. Wait, isn't that already a Daniel Craig movie? I'm just kidding. They're clearly about 2 different genders with 2 vastly different tattoos. This one starts out on a flight from Tokyo to England, where passenger Kyoko McMahon becomes violently ill before dying. I know, these Bond films usually start out with a big action set piece, like chasing a guy up a crane or rolling a helicopter. But this one was starting out at cruising altitude, everyone just sitting down on a plane before someone croaks it. Deal with it, Eon Productions. Deal with it. It turns out that Kyoko died from a strand of West Nile disease, which only usually exhibits mild flu symptoms. But this was 10 times deadlier than the normal strain. You know, hence hence the death. Anyway, it turns out that that was just a taster, and the leader of the Japanese mafia plots an end to Western domination through a strand of the virus that makes Hyoko's death seem slow and gentle. I got a few questions, Japanese mafia man. How are you planning to distribute this to the whole of Western society? Oh, don't tell me it's the water supply. It's always the goddamn water supply! Well, I mean, I can't exactly call it the most ridiculous Bond villain plan. Why don't you just chop him in half already, you bloody cock tease? Although this is more of a self-contained story, and doesn't hold some of the stakes that you might expect for Craig's last movie, it can always be adapted for the film. Let me have a go at Hollywooding it up quick. Okay, maybe it's his lady love that dies on the plane journey, returning from their honeymoon. Economy, obviously, still gotta be realistic. I mean, after you've crashed as many Aston Martins as he has, sometimes you need to sacrifice the luxuries of Economy Plus. I mean, when MI6 hands him over his salary, it's not just a check that says unlimited money. Okay, Bond's holding her in his arms. He screams, "I'll kill whoever did this!" Huh? The stakes are raised. It's then a revenge mission to find the Japanese mafia guy. What do you think about that, Eon? Oh, forget it. Number 3. Carte Blanche? Carte Blanche? This Bond is probably the closest to Craig's on-screen incarnation, in that he wasn't born in the region of 1917 to 1924, and isn't some sort of immortal being that changes his form into that of various movie stars throughout the ages. Cause that'd be pretty weird. This Bond was also a veteran of the Afghanistan War, while Craig's Bond is also said to have served at that time, but more in the realm of gathering intelligence than being on the front line. Look how much intelligence he's gathering! Stop wanking around playing battleships and do your job, James! Another fun fact about movie Bond's past: he attended Eton College from the age of 12 to 13, and I quote, was expelled for an excessive amount of curfew violations and trouble with one of the maids. I put the trouble in quote marks because it doesn't mean trouble, it means sex. This story starts out when Bond foils the plan of Irish enforcer Niall Dunn to derail a train as it passes through Serbia, carrying 300 kilograms of some chemical I can't pronounce into the Danube River, which apparently is a real river. This is obviously after they have a car chase and shootout. You wanted a big action set piece? You got one. Now get off my back. It turns out that Severin Height, a man with a weird sexual fascination with death, and one massive cauliflower ear by the looks of this silhouette, was a key player in the Serbian derailment attempt, which is believed to be followed by a second, much larger attack that will affect British interests, with help from Felix Leiter, hey, and Rene Mathis, hey. Sort of. Bond tracks Height all across the globe to stop the second devastating attack. Will it happen, or will Bond stop it in time? If you don't want to know the end of this story, click away now. Spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Go buy it yourself, you cheap f***s. That's it, that's the end of the video. So long, farewell. Auf Wiedersehen, adieu. You telling me you've never seen Sound of Music? You're the weird one. Let me know if I missed any good stories that we haven't yet seen Bond tackle in the comments down below. Also, I'd like to hear your thoughts on Daniel Craig. Is he still the right man for the job? Or would you like to see someone else take the helm? Let me know. Also, if you want to get in contact with me, I'm on Twitter at Mr. Joe_verrated. Tweet me about anything. Any questions or topics for upcoming videos? Just please no pictures of your genitals. Till next time, guys, thank you for watching. Have a good one.